And welcome to Hannity. Wow, what a day in court. We'll get to that in a minute. By the way, Joe Biden's phony promise to restore the soul of America is now more laughable than ever. This weekend, the self-proclaimed healer of souls screaming and yelling at Morehouse College graduates in one of the most divisive speeches ever given by a U.S. president. Take a look.
What is democracy? Betrayal of broken promises still leave black communities behind.
Robert KKK's best friend, a mentor. Anyway, coming up, we'll do what the media mob won't do. We'll call out the lies, the smears, the hatred. We'll play an unusual moment where, well, Joey seemed to believe that he was vice president during the beginning of the pandemic, COVID, and that Obama sent him to Detroit to solve the problem. Also tonight, a tutorial from Senator Marco Rubio, how every Republican needs to handle the hostile media mob in an interview. Here's a sneak peek.
Hillary Clinton conceded. Senator, will you accept the election result?
Hillary Clinton said the election was stolen from her and that Trump was illegitimate. Kamala Harris agreed.
Senator.
And you have Democrats now saying they won't certify 2024 because Trump is an insurrectionist and ineligible to hold office. So you need to ask them.
Every Republican, watch and take notes, because that's how to do it. Senator Rubio will join us tonight. Also, we begin tonight, though, in New York City. Fireworks big time in that courtroom. Another explosive day in the testimony of Juan Mershon's kangaroo court. Just hours ago, prosecutors rested their case against former President Donald Trump without proving a thing, but not before more eye-opening testimony from the state's so-called star witness, Michael Cohen. As it turns out, Cohen is not only a liar, also a thief. Now, Cohen was completely gutted once again by defense on cross-examination. And today, Michael Cohen admitted on the stand that he stole tens of thousands of dollars from the Trump Organization. Well, for a guy like Trump that paid such close attention, how would that happen? Now, according to one fake news CNN analyst, quote, this is a more serious crime than what Donald Trump is on trial for. And guess what? That New York DA, Bragg, he knew all about it. But his last name isn't Trump. He hates Trump. Now, even the media mob is forced to admit that this political witch hunt is imploding. Take a look.
I'm still kind of reeling from the revelation that Michael Cohen stole money from the Trump Organization, and that wasn't, at least to my knowledge, that the prosecution didn't get that out earlier.
The prosecution has painted Michael Cohen as sort of this bumbling, pathetic character whose only sins were his misguided, undying loyalty to Donald Trump. But now you see something a little different. Now there's an argument to be made that actually you're just an opportunistic thief.
The fact that he was never charged with larceny is important because stealing $60,000 through fraud, which would be larceny in New York State, is more serious of a crime than falsifying business records.
They knew about this. They minimized it. The prosecutor misled this jury. That's what I would argue.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even fake Jake didn't give opinion, left-wing opinion for a minute. Anyway, unfortunately, one particularly deranged MSDNC host still defending Michael Cohen. Are you shocked? I'm not. Take a look.
He very effectively got Michael Cohen to agree that, yes, he stole $30,000. Later, when Cohen was asked about that on redirect by the prosecution, it didn't really sound like stealing $30,000. It sounded a lot like Michael Cohen doing the little that he could within that calculation to rebalance the bonus he thought he deserved, and it still came out as less than the bonus he thought he deserved and the bonus he'd gotten the year before.
Now, let's compare MSDNC to the actual transcript. Trump's lawyer asked, quote, you stole from the Trump Organization, right? Cohen responded, quote, yes, sir. Now, you don't have to be a legal scholar now, do you? But I'm pretty sure that means Cohen admitted to stealing from the Trump Organization. But don't expect any charges from Alvin Bragg. He's only interested in getting Donald Trump, as he made a promise on the campaign trail. Unfortunately for Bragg, his star witness has been a complete, unmitigated disaster. Cohen even admitted to having a financial interest in the case. Can't make that up either. Cohen said he's trying to get a reality TV show picked up and might even use this trial as a way to run for Congress. According to testimony, Cohen has already made millions on the anti-Trump hatred through book deals, podcasts, and, of course, whatever gifts that he's getting on social media. In order, why? To salvage this train wreck? Well, the prosecution, they're now at this late hour, they're going to need a lot of help. But lucky for them, they have Judge Juan Merchan, a compromised Biden donor who is blatantly, abusively against all things Donald Trump. And today, as Trump's defense began to present their case, Juan Merchan, he appeared ready, willing, and able to give Bragg a helping hand. He knows probably deep in his heart this is falling apart, and he's trying to salvage this failing trial. At one point, Judge Merchan exploded on Robert Costello, a guy with impeccable credentials, while trying to limit the scope of his testimony, even threatened to remove him from the courtroom for rolling his eyes and questioned, "Are you staring me down?" Really? As a reminder, the defense called on Costello. Why? Because of this compelling story. Take a look.
Basically, they only put in a small cherry-picked group of emails. I presented maybe 200 to 300 emails and text messages to them. I had them with me, luckily, in chronological order. They put 2 or 3 into evidence. I asked them, "Are you going to put the rest of them into evidence?" And they said no. He said specifically, and I cross-examined him on this was my idea. It was his idea to take care of the NDA because he had been contacted by a lawyer for Stormy Daniels, who said she was going to claim that Donald Trump had sex with her. Cohen said, "I didn't believe the allegation, but nevertheless, it would be embarrassing to Melania." That's Michael Cohen's words. He said, and so I decided to take care of this myself.
And according to testimony, apparently that story was told to many people in the media mob. Here's Eric Trump, who will join us in a minute. He was in the courtroom today. Here's his quote. Now, the judge's treatment of Bob Costello is truly disgraceful. He would not allow him to tell his story, the same story that he told Congress, as he knows it will be devastating and end this sham trial. This is not justice. He's correct. Merchan let Stormy Daniels testify about ghosts, X-rated stories that were immaterial, irrelevant to the case. But the moment Robert Costello begins to testify about his interactions with Michael Cohen, their star witness, and impeach his testimony in regard to the NDA and him saying over and over again that, in fact, he did it on his own, Judge Juan Merchan sought to limit Costello's testimony, ultimately even threatened to kick him out of court. Judge Merchan also put strict limitations on another witness that is going to be used by the defense, Bradley Smith, former FEC commissioner and an expert on federal election crimes. Now, keep in mind, a critical part of the prosecution's case against Donald Trump, it is nebulous. This is a novel federal election crime theory. He was never charged in any way, shape, manner, or form, not even identified. But Merchan is prohibiting Bradley Smith from testifying in full about the law in a court of law based on the legal statute in the law. Is this not Banana Republic, kangaroo court stuff? But it's obvious what the judge is doing. Now, here's Bradley Smith on this very program. He was also on Levin's program recently. Take a look.
The claim made by the DA is the federal law says something is a campaign contribution if it's made for the purpose of influencing a campaign. And that's the argument. Well, they were trying to do this because they thought if they could pay hush money to Stormy Daniels, that would help Trump's campaign. So that's the theory. Most of us would not think that it is a campaign expenditure to try to settle potential legal claims against you or other claims against you for events that occurred 10 years before you talked about running for office, allegedly to pay hush money to Stormy Daniels or anybody else. And the odd theory of the DA Bragg is that not only could those expenses be paid with campaign funds, they would have to be paid with campaign funds. I think, again, it's a common sense matter that's clearly wrong, but also when you look at the statute and you realize that's an objective standard, it's clearly not correct to say that these were funds that count as a campaign expenditure.
Between Costello and Smith, it would be game over for Alvin Bragg. And Merchan knows that, so he's doing whatever he can to limit Donald Trump's defense in a court of law and throw a lifeline, to Alvin Bragg. Why? Because he's trying to save this case that has gone down the absolute tubes. This is what the weaponization of Biden's DOJ looks like. This is lawfare. It's plain and simple. Even the far-left director, Oliver Stone, is speaking out against this massive abuse of power, calling it the new form of warfare, lawfare. Now, make no mistake, there is no crime here. There's no evidence here. Bragg's entire case hinges on, uncorroborated claims from a convicted liar and apparently thief who hates Donald Trump by admission, who himself would benefit from Trump's conviction, and even testified that he told multiple people that Trump knew nothing about this whole payment deal to Stormy Daniels. And according to Costello, Bragg even withheld exculpatory evidence from the grand jury, something he is compelled to present to the grand jury, even after it was specifically pointed out to him by Costello. No wonder the judges came down on Costello. The judge is currently blocking real exculpatory evidence. He did it to the grand jury. Now it's happening to this jury. Both of these anti-Trump Democrats are completely, totally out of control. This is a political show trial. It is destroying the credibility of our entire justice system. It's shredding our sacred, your sacred Constitution, and in the process, causing great damage to your constitutional republic. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.